Hi everyone, welcome back to your fertility companion. Today I'm starting a brand new series, Things I Wish I Knew Before IVF. And trust me, this is not the medical jargon, sounds like Greek kind of talk. This is real talk. Today's part 1 is about the counseling women, and yes, their partners too, should really get before the whole IVF journey begins. Honestly, if I could design a counseling session, this is what I would have wanted someone to sit me down and explain. So, first things first, let's get real about the timeline. IVF is not a one-day event. It's not walk in, walk out, congratulations, you're pregnant. Far from it. In fact, one of the biggest shocks for many people, myself included, is just how much of a commitment it is. It's more like a mini season of your life, a period where your regular programming gets paused and your entire focus shifts. It demands your time, your energy, and your emotional bandwidth in ways you might not expect. Understanding this from the outset is the first step in preparing yourself for the journey ahead. Think of it like a Netflix show with multiple intense episodes. Except, instead of binge-watching from your couch, you're the main character, and you're being binge-poked with needles. The pilot episode is all the prep work, the consultations, the blood tests, the financial planning. Then you dive into the main arc, stimulation station, followed by the cliffhanger of egg retrieval, and the nail-biting special, the embryo report. It's a whole production, and you are at the very center of it. The average fresh IVF cycle, from the start of medications to the pregnancy test, lasts about 3 to 4 weeks. And that's for one cycle, assuming everything goes according to the initial plan. It's so important to remember that for many of us, including many couples I've spoken to, the journey involves more than one cycle. So it's crucial to see this as a marathon, not a sprint. During those weeks, almost every single day has a specific task or milestone. It's a meticulously choreographed dance between you, your body, and your medical team. Let's break that down. For about 8 to 12 days, you'll likely be injecting yourself with hormones once or even twice a day. These are to encourage your ovaries to produce multiple eggs. Then you'll have frequent, often early morning trips to the clinic for monitoring. We're talking blood tests to check your hormone levels and transvaginal ultrasounds to see how your follicles are growing. Some days you'll be juggling these appointments with work, feeling bloated and emotional from the hormones. Other days you'll be lying on that examination table for yet another scan. And then there are the days filled with a very specific kind of waiting. There's the waiting for the nurse to call back with new instructions, waiting for the scan to show your follicles are ready, and after the egg retrieval, there's the intense heart-in-your-throat wait for the call from the embryologist, telling you how many eggs fertilized and are developing into embryos. You're waiting for your body to respond to the medication, waiting for science to do its part. It's a masterclass in patience and managing anxiety. If someone had sat me down and said, "Benny, for the next month, clear your social calendar. Your life is about to revolve around precisely timed injections, early morning scans, and a roller coaster of emotional ups and downs," I would have been so much better prepared. So let me be that person for you. Get a large calendar and map it all out. Let your partner or a close friend see the schedule so they understand what you're going through. And most importantly, give yourself grace. This is a demanding process, physically and emotionally. You are the priority. Understanding the timeline isn't about scaring you. It's about empowering you. It's about turning the overwhelming into the manageable so you can walk into this journey with your eyes wide open, ready for whatever your season of IVF brings. Now let's talk about injections. Oh yes, the needles. Nobody really prepares you for how many times you'll become your own personal pincushion. Daily shots, sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night. And then every couple of days you're off to the clinic for scans. These scans are called transvaginal ultrasounds, which is just a fancy way of saying, we're going to get all up in your business with a wand, again. At first it feels awkward. By the 5th scan you're like, well, hello old friend, we meet again. Laughs. And then they throw words at you. Follicles, endometrium, hysteroscopy, AMH. You'll nod politely, but deep down you're like, sir, I just want a baby. Please simplify. But the part I really wish counseling covered is the emotional side. IVF is like a roller coaster you didn't exactly volunteer for. One day you're hopeful and positive. You're imagining baby names. The next day, you're crying over an advert with a chubby baby in it. Your hormones aren't just making your body work overtime, they're also playing DJ with your emotions. Let's talk about the emotional whiplash. One moment you're feeling capable and calm, the next you're in tears because your partner didn't cut the toast the right way. It sounds trivial, but it's not about the toast. It's about control. In a process where so much is out of your hands, your hormones, your schedule, the outcome, the way the toast is cut can feel like the one thing you should be able to count on. These moments are the pressure valve releasing. It's the culmination of powerful medications flooding your system, the constant waiting, and the sheer exhaustion of it all. It's not an overreaction. It's a completely normal reaction to a profoundly abnormal situation. Remember to give yourself grace in these moments. It's not you failing, it's the science working. And your body and mind are simply trying to keep up. And speaking of partners, they need counseling and support too. Because IVF is not just happening to you, it's happening to both of you as a unit. We often focus on the person undergoing the physical procedures, but the partner is on their own parallel journey, one that can be incredibly isolating. And if he seems a little clueless sometimes, well, remember he's watching the woman he loves go through injections, scans, and mood swings he can't fix. He might feel like a chauffeur, a cheerleader, and a walking pharmacy reminder, but not an equal partner in the experience. This helplessness is a heavy burden. It's tough for them too, even if they don't say it. They often feel they have to be the strong one, which leaves no room for their own fear and sadness. A good counselor can help partners find their role beyond just being supportive. They can learn to be an active participant, learning the medication names, being the designated note-taker at appointments, or planning non-IVF related activities to help you both reconnect as a couple, not just as patients. Another thing no one tells you: how heavy the unspoken expectations can feel. Everyone with the best intentions tells you to stay positive. And you want to, you really do, but sometimes positivity feels like a luxury you can't afford. It can even feel like a threat. This pressure doesn't just come from family and friends, it comes from social media, from the success stories pinned to the clinic's bulletin board, and most of all, from within. You start to believe that if you just think positively enough, it will work. This creates a terrible trap, where any feeling of doubt or sadness is accompanied by a wave of guilt, a fear that your negativity could somehow jinx the outcome. I wish counseling had included this on day one. It's okay to feel scared. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry at the unfairness of it all. It's okay to grieve the path to parenthood you thought you'd have. Feeling those emotions doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. It means you're processing an immense physical, emotional, and financial challenge. Let me be clear. Your feelings have no bearing on whether a microscopic embryo decides to implant. Crying doesn't make you a bad candidate for motherhood. Feeling angry doesn't lower your chances. Allowing yourself to feel the whole spectrum of emotions is actually a sign of strength. It's a practice in what I call hopeful realism, holding space for hope while acknowledging the difficult reality of the present moment. And the pressure between partners is real too. IVF can strain even the strongest relationship, especially if you're not talking openly. Intimacy can become scheduled and mechanical. Your roles can shift from partners to patient and caregiver, creating a strange distance. Financial worries add another layer of stress, and it can be easy to fall into a silent blame game, even if you don't mean to. You might find yourselves on completely different emotional planets, one of you optimistic, the other bracing for disappointment, which can feel incredibly lonely. This is where counseling is vital. It should teach couples a new language for this journey. It's about learning how to say, "I'm scared, I'm tired, I feel like I'm losing you." It's about practicing "I feel" statements instead of "you always" or "you never." It's about scheduling a 10-minute phone-free check-in each day to ask, "How are we?" Not just "How are you?" Most importantly, it's about learning to ask for what you truly need. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, "I need you to just hold me and not try to fix it." Because in the world of IVF, where everything is about finding a solution, sometimes the only solution is simply being held. And finally, I wish counseling had taught us how to stay hopeful without pretending. Hope doesn't always look like singing in the shower with sunshine in your heart. So often we're bombarded with messages of toxic positivity, telling us to just think positive or stay optimistic. But when you're in the trenches of infertility, that can feel impossible, even insulting. It can make you feel like you're failing at being hopeful on top of everything else. True, resilient hope isn't about plastering on a smile. It's about acknowledging the difficulty, the pain, the fear, and choosing to take one more step anyway. It's a quiet, gritty determination that lives in your bones, not a loud performance for everyone else. Sometimes, hope is just waking up and saying, "Okay, I'll take today's injection. I'll go to today's scan. I'll keep moving." It's the silent promise you make to yourself in the quiet of the morning. Hope is answering the phone call from the nurse, even when your heart is pounding with fear of the news. It's drinking that extra glass of water, taking your prenatal vitamins, and choosing to nourish your body when you feel like it's betraying you. Hope can be allowing yourself to cry, to really feel the weight of it all for a few minutes, and then getting up to make dinner. It's found in the mundane, in the discipline, in the simple act of continuing. Your strength is not in how happy you look. Your strength is in showing up, even when you feel wobbly. The hormonal medications alone can feel like a roller coaster you never agreed to ride. One moment you might feel a surge of rage, the next you're weeping over a commercial. This is a physiological response, not a personal failing. Your body is being asked to do something extraordinary. So give yourself grace. On the days you feel wobbly, unstable, or just plain exhausted, your only job is to be kind to yourself. Maybe strength that day is canceling plans. Maybe it's asking for help. Maybe it's just putting one foot in front of the other. That is more than enough. So if you're preparing for IVF, here's my free counseling session to you. Let's manage some expectations, because knowledge is power. First, the timeline. Expect a 3-4 week journey for a single cycle, from the start of medications to the egg retrieval, and then to embryo transfer. This begins with a baseline appointment, where they'll do an ultrasound and blood work to make sure you're ready to start. Then comes the stimulation phase, or stims, which is typically 14 days of daily and sometimes twice daily injections to encourage your ovaries to produce multiple eggs. During this time, you'll have frequent monitoring appointments, usually every other day towards the end. These involve transvaginal ultrasounds to measure your growing follicles and blood tests to check your hormone levels. Based on this, your doctor will adjust your medication. It's an intense, highly monitored process. And let's talk about the emotional turbulence. It's not just a fair amount. It can be a tidal wave. You'll likely feel a cocktail of emotions: anxiety about whether the treatment is working, frustration with the constant appointments, a sense of detachment as your body becomes a medical project. You might feel intense jealousy seeing pregnancy announcements. You might feel grief for the ease with which others conceive. You might feel angry, sad, and numb all in the same day. Please hear me. This is all normal. You are not going crazy. You are a human having a human response to a profoundly difficult and unnatural process. The most important thing you can do is acknowledge these feelings without judgment. Prepare your partner for it too, because you'll both need each other more than ever. This journey can put an immense strain on a relationship. So how do you prepare? Communicate proactively. Don't wait until you're at a breaking point. Schedule weekly check-ins where you both can share how you're feeling, away from the logistics of appointments and medications. For the supporting partner, your role is critical. You can be the logistical manager, learning to mix the medications, keeping track of the schedule, handling calls with the clinic. You can be the emotional guardian, fielding intrusive questions from family, creating a peaceful home environment, and knowing when to just listen without trying to fix anything. Remember, your partner is also grieving and anxious, even if they express it differently. Be a team. This is your shared battle. And above all, remember this: IVF is tough, but you are tougher. Hope doesn't mean never feeling weak. It means holding on, even when it's hard. And holding on doesn't mean doing it alone. It means building your fortress of support. Find your people. This could be a therapist specializing in infertility, which I cannot recommend enough. It could be an online support group where you can speak anonymously with others who just listen. It could be 1 or 2 trusted friends you can be completely honest with. Being tough isn't about having a stiff upper lip. It's about having the wisdom and courage to ask for help. That is true strength. For those of us who find comfort in faith, let me leave you with this encouragement from Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Let those words sink in. When you're sitting in a sterile waiting room feeling like just a number, remember, I am with you. When you get a call with disappointing news and your heart sinks, do not be dismayed. This verse isn't a promise that the path will be easy or free of pain. It's a promise of presence. It's a promise of divine companionship in the midst of the struggle. The verse continues, I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That strength might come in the form of a nurse's kind smile. The help might be a friend dropping off a meal. The upholding might be the resilience you didn't know you had that allows you to get up and face another day. You're not walking this path alone. Whether your support is from your partner, your friends, your faith, or a community of strangers on the internet, there is strength, there is help, and there is hope. Your hope is valid, your journey matters, and you are seen. That's it for part 1 of our deep dive. I hope this has helped you feel more prepared and less alone. In part 2, we're getting into the real nitty-gritty of the stimulation phase. We'll be talking about the start of the actual IVF process. What do those daily shots feel like? How do you manage the bloating and side effects? What are the doctors actually looking for on those scan screens when they're measuring your follicles? We'll also cover the all-important trigger shot and the heart-pounding suspense of waiting to see how many eggs they can retrieve. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be packed with practical tips to make the process more manageable. So, subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when it drops. And please, join the conversation in the comments below. If you feel comfortable, share a piece of your story or one thing that's giving you hope right now. Let's build a village of support for each other, right here. Let's walk this journey together.